Deep within the shadowed wilderness known as Black Pine Forest, there lived a beast spoken of only in whispers, the Grizzly of Black Pine Forest. This was no ordinary bear. It was a creature of legend, enormous as a boulder, scarred by old battles, its fur dark as thunderclouds, and its eyes glowing like embers in the night. Hunters claimed its roar could shake snow from mountain peaks. Soldiers said its strength could splinter shields like dry twigs. No one entered Black Pine without fear. Travelers who wandered too far were never seen again. Brave royal soldiers once marched into the forest under the king's command, armed with spears and torches. Only their broken weapons and scattered bones were later found along the riverbanks. A few fearless hunters had dared to track the beast, but the forest returned only silence. The villagers who lived at the edge of Black Pine told their children never to cross the tree line. For the forest did not belong to men. It belonged to the grizzly. In a poor wooden cottage, at the very border of that forest, lived a boy named Luka. His father had died in war years ago, and since then, Luka had become the man of the house. His mother worked tirelessly, yet hunger often visited their table. Worst of all, his younger sister Anna had fallen gravely ill. Fever burned through her small body day and night. No healer in the village could cure her. One evening, a traveling old man passed through the village. By the firelight, he told a story. Deep in Black Pine Forest, he said, there grow white mushrooms marked with a red heart at their center. They are rare, but they can cure any illness. Luka listened with pounding heart. Hope, dangerous and fragile, was born inside him. Before dawn the next morning, without telling his mother, he strapped on his late father's old belt, tucked a small knife at his side, and carried an empty basket. He stepped into Black Pine Forest alone. The deeper he walked, the darker the forest became. Tall pine trees blocked the sunlight. The air grew colder. The wind whispered like distant voices. Even birds avoided the inner woods. Hours passed. Then Luka saw at a clearing where a single beam of sunlight broke through the branches. There, glowing softly against the moss, grew the mushrooms. White caps, red hearts in their centers. They looked almost alive. Hands trembling with relief, Luka gathered them carefully and secured them inside his belt. That was when the earth trembled beneath him. A low growl rolled through the forest like thunder. Slowly, from between the trees, emerged the Grizzly of Black Pine Forests. It was larger than any creature Luka had ever imagined. Its shoulders were massive, its claws long and curved like knives. Old scars crossed its snout. Its breath steamed in the cold air. Its burning eyes locked onto him. For a frozen second, boy and beast stared at each other. Then the grizzly roared. The sound exploded through the forest. Luka ran. Branches whipped his face. Roots tried to trip him. Behind him, the forest cracked and shattered as the bear charged forward, smashing through trees like brittle sticks. Ahead, a river thundered between steep banks. Without thinking, Luka threw himself into the freezing water. The current nearly dragged him under. He gasped and kicked desperately toward the opposite shore. Behind him came a tremendous splash. The grizzly had leaped into the river. It swam with terrifying power, roaring as it closed the distance between them. Luka barely crawled onto the far bank, coughing and shaking. He scrambled toward towering cliffs rising beside the river. With bleeding fingers, he climbed. The grizzly climbed after him. But Luka was lighter. He reached the top just as the bear slipped on whetstone. With a furious roar, the grizzly fell, crashing down the rocks below. The forest shook. Luka believed it was over. He descended carefully on the opposite side and began the long journey home. Then came another roar. Louder, closer. The grizzly was alive. It charged again, jaws open, rage blazing in its eyes. Luka ran to the tallest pine tree he could find and climbed with desperate speed. The grizzly began climbing too. Higher and higher they went. At the very top, the branch beneath the bear cracked under its weight. With a violent snap, the grizzly fell again, crashing through branches before slamming into the forest floor. For a long moment, it did not move. Luka remained in the tree, trembling. Then the bear groaned. Not in fury, in pain. Hours passed. Then a day. Then two. For 3 long days, Luka stayed in the tree. He ate the mushrooms slowly to survive, knowing he might not make it home. Below, the grizzly lay on its side, occasionally roaring in agony. On the 3rd day, its roars changed. They sounded almost sorrowful. Luka gathered his courage and looked carefully. A thick splintered pine stake had pierced the bear's hind leg during its fall. Blood had dried around the wound. The beast was trapped in suffering. Taking a deep breath, Luka spoke. "Bear, I can help you, or I can stay here until you die in pain. I carry medicine for my sick sister. Let me go on, and I will remove the wood from your leg." The grizzly slowly turned its massive body and extended its wounded leg toward him. It understood Luka, climbed down carefully, step by step. He approached the beast that had nearly killed him. With shaking hands and all his strength, he gripped the wooden stake and pulled. The grizzly roared, a sound that shook the treetops, but it did not strike. At last, the stake came free. Blood flowed, but the bear's breathing eased. Slowly, it stood. It looked at Luka for a long moment. Then it turned and walked several steps away. "Thank you for not killing me," Luka called out. "If you are grateful, leave this forest. Let poor villagers gather wood and medicine without fear." The grizzly paused. It turned its great head one final time and released a powerful, echoing roar, not of rage, but of promise. Then it disappeared into the mountains beyond Black Pine Forest. The villagers never saw the grizzly again. No more bones were found by the river. No more soldiers were sent. Black Pine grew quiet, and Luka returned home, changed forever. Some say his sister recovered soon after. Some say courage itself was the true miracle. But all agree on one thing: even the most feared monster may carry pain instead of evil. And sometimes the bravest heart in the forest belongs not to the strongest beast, but to a small boy who chooses mercy over fear. If you like this video, please subscribe and like it so we can make more videos like this.